back to the Barbell Benders podcast. We're here with Seth Todd and
Altman Biggs.
yes, sir. This episode, we wanted to sit down and kind of talk about the mental versus physical aspects of powerlifting and strength training. There's a lot of, I guess I wouldn't call it controversy, but people like to put a percentage on one or the other, and so we're here today to kind of discuss that, our thoughts on it, how you can improve each, focus on, make each better to make you the best powerlifter. So, Altman, you want to kick it off? What is the mental side of strength training mean to you?
So for me, the mental side is going, learning when to push yourself, learning when to back off. That's what I'm going to say it is. But when you do push it, you have to have in your head, like, okay, you have to have the confidence in your head, and you have to have basically that visualization saying, all right, I know I can do this. I've done it in my head. I'm going to do it now. You have to be able to basically turn that switch. It's because sometimes it is a switch saying you have to go from 0 to 100, and
Real quick.
yeah, for sure. Sometimes you have time to build up. Sometimes you don't have time to build up. It just depends on when you're in it. In a meet, maybe the meet's going really fast. You don't have a lot of time to kind of psych yourself up or get mentally prepared. So you have to go really quick. Sometimes the meet's going a little bit slower, so you have to learn to psych yourself up and then psych yourself back down. Because I know in a powerlifting meet, we have 3 lifts and 9 lifts, and we have 3 like compound lifts and then 9 lifts in total. So, but we have to learn to psych ourselves up. Matt Winning was talking about this. I thought it was very interesting. We have to learn to psych ourselves up, but then bring ourselves back down. Because it's hard to stay psyched up the entire meet, because that's just how you kind of bomb out of a meet. You can't maintain that forever. So you have to learn to psych yourself up and psych yourself back down.
Yeah, one thing that you mentioned that I think is a huge part is that word confidence. And confidence for me, there's confidence in the gym and there's confidence out of the gym. So I think being confident in yourself is huge in powerlifting. You don't want any kind of self doubt. If especially when you're lifting heavy weights, whatever heavy is for you, you get under the bar of a squat. Every time you PR, it's going to be something that you've never hit.
Mm-hmm.
And even on higher, 90, 95% weights, like your first and second attempt in a meet, you have to know in your mind, not have any doubt that you have to know that you're going to squat that weight or you're going to bench that weight. You can't be thinking about failure. I think powerlifting is a very success driven sport. People are always chasing that next PR, that next goal, that next record, whatever it is. And so confidence is huge. Having confidence in the gym that you can complete what you need to do, and stay healthy. And then also confidence out of the gym. Like I know I'm really serious about it. I want to do this as long as I can. I want to get to the top one day. And I have to know that outside of the gym, that what I'm doing is to reach a bigger goal. The end goal. Like we asked guests on our show, what their end goal is, and knowing that what you're doing outside of the gym also has an impact on your training inside of the gym. So this brings me to my next question. What do you think about self-talk?
I mean, like, I'm going to get this weight. I am.
Yeah, like how you talk to yourself when you're lifting.
So, like I said, it has to be an absolute. Like, I've done this weight. I've squatted this already. I'm squatting it. It can't be I'm going to squat it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, it needs to be something that you basically say in your head. I've already done this. I've done it. I'm done. Like, it's already been done. I don't even have to worry about it. I've already done it before. Um, it,
Yeah.
my mom's a therapist, so she's been teaching me some of these things, and she tells, like, with her kids, she uses it. That she um like counsels. She does, like, with affirmation. It needs to be something. I am doing this. I am the best. I I will not cheat. I am going to be this. I am this good. I am confident. It has to be an absolute. It can't be future or past.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. You're in powerlifting, most of the time, you're going to be your biggest fan. There's people can psych you up when you're in a meet or going for a PR. Um, they can tell you good things, but at the end of the day, between every lift, when you get under that bar, you're the only one in your head. So what you tell yourself is super important. I don't ever picture myself failing a lift.
Hmm.
That's not something that I want to be in my head. I always get under the bar with, like we said, the confidence that I'm going to lift it right, safely, complete the lift, and I go through in my head what what I need to do, what I've done 100 times before preparing for that meet, and then visualizing myself successfully completing that lift. So I don't even let any kind of thought about doubt in a lift come into my head, especially in a meet, because when it comes in once, it's probably going to come in again. But then something like how you talk to yourself when you fail a lift or you get hurt. What do you think about that?
Uh, well, you're the one that's been hurt. So what did you say to yourself when you got injured? What was the first thing you said?
Uh, so it was getting hurt was pretty hard when it happened in March. I started thinking like, I started having that doubt before I've actually, this what I talk about now, not letting doubt in my head is what I built the last, 6, 9 months, whatever. But after it happened, I was like, maybe this powerlifting thing isn't for me. Maybe I'm not made to break records and be a world champion one day. Maybe my body is just, not in it. It's been beaten up from high school football too much. I've already hurt my back twice. This is the third time. Maybe I should just stop, you know. But it uh but yeah, that only lasted a little while because then, people around me, my mom, Dylan, my teammates, they were like, it's just a bump in the road. Everyone's going to get hurt at some point.
Hmm.
You got to get over it. Do what you can now to recover, get back to where you were, and then you also every time you get hurt, you learn something. Like when it happened, I locked my knees out too quick on deadlift, and it just too much pressure on my lower back. So it yeah, I learned not to do that anymore. When you get hurt, you learn it, and you got to move on. But yeah, it was hard to keep that doubt, from getting in. And
Yeah, man.
eventually, I just had to set my sights on, what my end goal was, and just keep telling myself that.
So you were discouraged for a little bit, but then you said you basically were like, all right, it's time to it's time to man up. I've been hurt.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
gotten hurt. Now it's time to, all right, what can I do now? What can I do to fix this? How can I get back in the gym? And how can I be better than I was? That's a champion mindset.
yeah, exactly. And it was for sure a little bit harder because we were in quarantine,
Hmm.
but that was probably the best thing for me
Yeah.
because I couldn't get back in the gym, and I actually was forced to take time off. But ever since seventh grade, working out has been the most consistent thing in my life. And like honestly, I'll say it, I'm addicted. Like I
Oh, for sure.
I can't go like I hate deload weeks. I hate when I'm the days that I don't train because I'm on a 4 day split right now. So almost half of the week I'm not training, and especially during school when stress is a big factor. Getting in the gym to release some energy, some stress, anger, whatever it is. I think it's a big outlet that a lot of people could benefit from.
For sure, man. Um, you mentioned like maybe your body's not meant for it. Jesus talked about that. He's like, um, what if we're doing something that our body's not meant to do? What if our body isn't meant to lift these heavy weights? Maybe we're breaking past that. My believe it or not, my dad, he's the one who got me into strength training when I was like 14 or 15, and he's like, oh, I've always been like the skinnier dude, but now I'm getting to where I can actually move some weight. Now I'm getting stronger, and I'm getting significantly stronger. And he's like, you you've gotten to the point now where I think you've made it to where you were a skinny guy and you really weren't maybe not meant to lift these heavy weights, but you're just saying, no, F that. I'm going to keep on going. I'm not going to stop. I think that's just, and
Yeah,
again, go ahead.
it's like you just said on Jesus's episode. That was a big motivation boost. And I had the quote what he said right here. He said, "Out of sheer will, out of sheer determination, out of sheer belief in myself, what if I'm actually able to surpass my genetic potential? What if I'm doing more than I'm supposed to simply because I think I can?"
And that's
And that
just
was
as
a
simple as that.
yeah,
You think
yeah,
you
like
can.
you just that's all you have to do is believe that you can. Keep telling yourself that. And on the topic of quotes, I was listening to Angelo Fortino and Sullivan. What's his name?
Joe?
Joe Sullivan. Yeah, yeah. He said, and someone told me that this was like a Marvel quote, but I'm gonna stick with it and say that it's from Joe Sullivan. But he said, um, "My success is not probable; it is inevitable." And
Wow.
I really like that. Yeah,
That's
that's actually what I plan on my next tattoo being is a little barbell with that quote right there.
that's powerful.
Because you just yeah, it is.
And wait, say that one more time. What is it? it
My success is not probable; it is inevitable.
my success is not
So
probable. It's inevitable. Wow.
if you truly believe that one day you will be successful and succeed in what you're doing, one day you're going to get there in whatever facet of life that may be, lifting or not.
People ask me like what my goals are in life, and I say I have to be successful. I cannot not be
Yeah.
successful. And it's just kind of like that thing, like that quote you said. My success is it's going to happen. I'm already saying it now. It's going to happen. It will happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I just have to be successful. If I'm not, then I failed at life, and I'm not going to fail. So I have one choice, Plan A. It's like kind of like with Arnold. He's like people asked him what his Plan B was. He said, "I didn't have a Plan B. I had Plan A."
Exactly. If you're not even considering, a fallback plan, then you're going to put all your focus on what your goal is.
Yep.
And like humans are success driven. Like we want to be successful in something. And I think, like I said, powerlifting, strength training, whether you compete or not, it's it's really based around success. Getting stronger, constantly hitting those new PRs, going up in weight. Those are small goals that you can put in place, you can work toward, put in the work, put in the time, the effort, and then achieve those,
Mhm.
and then set a new one. There's really no limit.
There isn't. The limits, like all you have is barriers in your head. Like let's say 405. A lot of people like it took me forever to get past 405 on squat. Golly, it just was a mental barrier. It just took forever, and I finally got to where I can do it for a triple now. And it's just like, okay, I have the confidence to do this now. I can do whatever I want now. I'm breaking it in now. It's my time. Like I put on an Instagram post, breaking barriers. I've never gone past front squat ever 225. And I was like, okay, I want to hit something big. I really do, and I'm going to hit something big. I'm going to hit something I've never hit before or thought I could hit. I hit 315. I was like, wow, I did it. That's
Yeah,
wow.
I saw that. That was awesome.
I was super surprised. I was like, I did it. Now I can go. Now eventually I'm gonna get 2 or 3 reps, then three. So it's just again find those barriers that you have. It's kind of like with Eddie Hall and the 500 kilogram deadlift. That was a big barrier for people. Nobody ever thought somebody could pull 500 kilograms off the ground, but he broke the barrier for it.
Yeah, have you seen the documentary on like him training for that?
Didn't he have like some way to like he had like pinched his like hand or something like that to psych himself up?
Yeah, he spent months like going to therapy and figuring out what he needed to do physically and mentally wise to be able to lift that. Because I think he said he never pulled anything in training over like 460. And so, imagine getting a deadlift PR like 40 kilos. That's 88 pounds.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And so it was like he had to do a lot of mental preparation for it. He said that like at home he was a different person in those times that he was prepping for that 500 kilo deadlift. He and he even said that he had to go to a different place in his mind. A lot of people say, like, imagine you're picking a car up off your kids or your mom or your dog, whatever it is, and all deadlift. But he wouldn't even say what he had to envision to do that.
Hmm.
He said it was so graphic that he didn't want to even say it. That's
Wow.
that's the kind of place he had to go to mentally to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So bring it to psyching up. Do you think you should psych up in training? Do you think everybody should psych up? Do you think that some people should, some people shouldn't? What's your view on that?
Yeah, so I think getting psyched up, it kind of goes with your arousal level, and your I forget what that word is, but it's healthy in small doses,
Hmm.
kind of like ammonia. You know, you there's only so much like anticipation you can build over and over. That's why like a meet is so draining, because you're doing it, 9 times. So in training, I don't think you should have to get super psyched up for every lift. I think you should be able, slapping your head, stomping your feet, banging stuff around. I don't think you should have to do that.
Yeah,
Obviously for your heavy singles and doubles, maybe in triples, whatever they are, obviously you're gonna have to get psyched up because you are increasing that arousal level for that lift. And but I think it's unhealthy to do it too much because, like I said, I believe there's a certain limit of arousalness, or if that's what you want to call it. There's a certain limit, capacity of what you have. So if you rely on that too much, it's not gonna have the same effect as if you do it, only when you really need it.
hmm, true, true. And it's one of those things that you have to recover from it. And it's not. It's
Exactly.
more of a mental stress than it is a physical stress at that point. And
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I know that when I get down to like the heavy singles and doubles in training before a meet, I can I can increase my arousal by like deep breathing.
really
Like,
interesting.
yeah. So I do that and I have to start, probably 3 or 4 minutes before I hit that lift. And like when Dylan dropping my knees, I got my headphones in. Like, don't talk to me. Like, I'm getting my mind right. That's something my football coach used to say, and I think it's true. You need to get your mind right for that lift. You need to picture yourself completing that lift successfully, and just no negative thoughts. I do that deep breathing. That in for one, it increases your oxygen capacity for a short period before you lift, so that's helpful. And it also kind of gets your heart rate up. You know, you do like a little angry breathing,
Hmm.
and you have to find that place where you have to go to complete those lifts. Because I know for sure if I didn't do that for those heavy singles, I probably wouldn't have a lot of them because my arousal level is not where it needs to be for that type of weight.
Interesting. I think I'm a little bit opposite of you. From these past couple of weeks of training, I don't really get psyched up anymore. Like I don't even really like listen to music. I feel like it stimulates me too much, and I get off focus of
Yeah,
I get off focus of the technique and actually performing the lift, and I just find that I don't really need to. I think that's and even at the last meet, I didn't really get psyched up for that many lifts, and the lifts I get psyched up more for, I do worse at. Maybe it's because I'm
yeah,
just not focusing enough. I'm doing it just because I've seen it before, and it's not really something that benefits me. And even in some of my classes, we for developing like coaching, we talked about different athletes and their arousal. Some athletes need a higher arousal than others, and then some guys need a little bit lower. They don't need as much to perform well because they need to focus on. They just need to have their head in the game instead of having their head getting super amped up. While some guys just live off that adrenaline. Some guys just love it.
yeah. It's for sure different for everybody. Not everybody's going to be the same. Need the same arousal level for a lift, like you said. You found what works for you, and you actually saw that getting too amped up was detrimental to your lifts.
Yeah,
Sometimes you would miss it because you're not focused on your form or technique. So really, I think people should try it both ways.
for sure.
See, and a lot of people they'll get too psyched up, and like you said, they'll miss a lift because their arousal level is too high, and they're not focused on the technique and the basis of what they need to do to complete that lift successfully.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and it's just figuring out, like you said, just figuring out what you like and what gets you the best results. And if you get to the
Yeah,
point where, like,
exactly.
if you're someone like Seth and you get to that point, and you're starting to where, like, wow, I'm getting really strong, and I'm getting like Seth. I'm just amp up with that deep breathing. That works for you. If you're someone like me that I can be talking to my buddies over here and just go in and be all nice and calm and just do the lift and that's it. Then yeah, try that. Um, and I think it's
Yeah,
having the confidence to know what works for you too. We talked about confidence earlier in the episode, and it's having the confidence of, does this work or not, or do I just want to kind of impress my friends or get attention? Because I think there are a lot of attention
yeah,
seekers in the gym nowadays. I mean, I've done it too. Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, we had it back in the semester when I was going through a set and I was going crazy. Yeah, maybe I didn't really need to be doing that. It was just something I was just being loud because that's what I've seen. Like bodybuilders and powerlifters are going crazy, and that's what sells. Intensity sells.
yeah, yeah,
No one really likes to watch the video of the guy just going through the motions, but it might work for him.
yeah, yeah. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, if you look at someone like Russ Swole or Russell Orhe, I don't really see him get psyched up for a lift too often. Do you?
Yeah, he's super calm
Yeah.
before he does the lift.
And
And
then
I'm trying to think of someone that does get super psyched up.
yeah, who's that?
Mm-mm.
Who's the big equipped guy? Ben was it Benhoff? Is it not Benhoff? Mr. 2K total? Three
3K total.
Mr.
Dave
3
Hoff.
Dave Hoff. He's someone that like
Yeah,
he gets like after he's done with the lift, he pushed like Louie and everybody out of the way. He's like an
yeah, I
animal.
saw that.
But he's someone
I
that
think
probably
that
gets hyped up. Oh, Hathor, Julius Bjornsson. Have you seen him when he
yeah,
lifts? They like get up against his head, get behind his ears, and go like, get angry,
yeah,
get that Viking spirit.
yeah, yeah, Dave. For one thing, I think multiply. You're lifting even more than you could single ply. The stakes are a little bit higher. PEDs running through your system, and usually multiply non-tested meets have a different atmosphere than like a USAPL meet.
That's very
If
true.
I mean, I haven't been to any, but I've seen videos of them, and just from what I've seen, like WPC, their meets go crazy. Like that's just the atmosphere.
Yeah, maybe you should try one of those eventually, Seth.
Uh, if I did non-tested, I would have to actually get on something to be competitive because
Well,
I'm
no one
I'm
said you had to
barely
win
competitive. Oh yeah, I just try one. Shoot, I would actually love to try multiply one day.
after you win single ply.
There we go. After I went single ply, but yeah. So if you had to give like like a percentage split of mental versus physical and powerlifting for you, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a very hard question to ask, or a very hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Golly, I don't even know if I can answer that right now, to be honest.
All right, yeah, yeah. Think about it after we talk about the physical side. And at the end of the episode, we'll give our percentages.
Yeah. I'll have to think
So
long and hard on that one.
so keep that in the back of your mind. Don't forget it.
Yeah, but
So yeah, let's jump into the other half.
so the physical side, a lot of this is I'm gonna say this is probably where as a strength coach, as a the future strength coach, I am much more in the physical side than I am the mental side. There are some strength coaches that are big into the mental side aspect of it. Um, I'm pretty big into the physical side. I do believe that if you get the physical part right, then a lot of it will take care of itself. But mental. I'll say mental is definitely important. And
Mhm.
as a strength coach, we're not really taught to train the mental side. I think it's something you have to learn. And I'll say this: any coach can go into the weight room and break people down. You can be anybody.
Yeah,
You can tear somebody down, but you have to be it's someone that's smart, that's been doing it a while, that's educated, that knows when not to keep tearing somebody down. when to back off, when to train hard, when not to train hard. So I do think it's not. I don't think it's just a constant mental, just like David Goggins. You have to constantly do that to get better. I don't agree with that, especially with strength training. You probably shouldn't even do that with strength
Yeah.
training because that's how you get injured really fast and really easily. Um,
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick on Larry Wills. Larry Wills is one of the greatest athletes in the world. His intensity is insane. Like he gets injured quite a good bit, but he's still strong. He's
Yeah.
like he got very strong, but only if it comes to think, could he have gotten that strong even without all the kind of stupid antics that he did to get there? Could he have taken a little bit longer and still got there? But again, maybe that's just how he likes to train, his motivation. Maybe his motivation to train would have gone down if he did that. Maybe he's just one of these guys that just loves to go in there and just lifts heavy stuff all the time.
Yeah, I think Larry Wheels is a big Instagram lifter too.
Oh,
He lifts for the gram.
that's how he makes his money.
Yeah, I mean, and more power to him, you know?
Oh, for sure, dude.
Um, Shoot.
I mean, if we were in the same boat, I'm sure we would
If
do the
I
same thing.
Yeah, if I could make loads of money from lifting heavy things, that'd be nice. But this is a little tangent though. If I think there's a reason why a lot of meets, aside from the fact that they don't have a lot of money to give out, a lot of meets don't have prizes like for first, second, third place. Because I've heard a lot of the top tier power lifters talk about when when that prize money gets introduced. I think it was Atwood that was talking about this. When they introduce that prize money, that becomes your new goal. So you stop powerlifting for the enjoyment of the sport and you start lifting for the money.
Yeah,
And it's not, you can't make a living off of powerlifting
yeah, you
by
can't.
strictly competing. Yeah, that's
Yeah, you have to
unless you
become.
like make a brand and
Yeah,
yeah,
if you look at someone like Julius Maddox, he's the best in the world. No one's better than him. He can make a living off of it because he's the best in the world. The second and third
yeah,
best, they probably have to have jobs.
yeah,
You
exactly.
have to be the
And
literal
that's
best.
that's probably exactly. So
That was
yeah,
pretty.
I like that. What has changed for you on the physical training side, going from powerlifting to bodybuilding to strongman training?
Um. Okay, so I will say this for strength training. I like to go heavy. Um. I like to lift hard. So I'm gonna need more recovery time. With bodybuilding, high rep ranges, not as heavy weight, so I might not even go above like shoot. I don't think I ever went above like 80%, 80 to
Yeah,
85%. I just never went above that, but I could recover really well from that. But with the strongman and everything like that, I have strongman. I have a 5 day training split, but I split that up into like 2 weeks.
yeah,
So it takes me 2 weeks to get through 5 days, basically. Mainly because when I go into the gym, I'm going. I don't want to have to learn. I don't want to have to back off. I want to be able to go like, okay, I'm here to do this. I'm going to do this. Now, do listen to my body. If something's bothering me, then yeah, I might not go as hard. Or if I just don't, I feel like absolute garbage. I don't feel like I have it in me today. If there's something that's bugging me a little bit, then I might back off a little bit. I do think that's important. I'm not going to be one of these guys to tell you, no, even when you feel like shit, don't keep going. Or I'm not going to be one of these guys to tell you, if you feel like shit, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. No, I think that's how you get injured real fast and real quick. But I
yeah,
do, I pick my battles. So let's say I have a pretty big deadlift day. I might go extremely hard on that deadlift day, but my next upper day, I might go back off a little bit because I know I'm not fully recovered from lifting this massive amount of weight. I need a little bit of time to back off. So I might do like incline bench instead of regular bench press, or a standing shoulder press instead of a seated shoulder press. So I'll find movements that I can still train hard without um, without having like the effects last that long. I'll train movements that I can recover from faster. Does that make sense? Like I'll train light.
yeah.
I'll train
You
lighter
you
movements.
you know your physical limitations in training. Like that's one thing we've talked about is learning your body. And
Yep.
after training so long, you'll figure that out. Like you said, the high rep ranges for bodybuilding, you can recover quickly from those.
Hmm.
But when you're doing the strongman stuff, it's more intense. You're putting out more strength, so obviously you're gonna need more time to recover. But you've realized that in your training, and you can adjust accordingly in planning your training. So like you said, you have a 5 day split, but it's over 2 weeks. So you
Yep.
need a lot more time to recover than like the regular 5 day split in 1 week,
Yep.
or however many times you train.
And I'm finding it's working really well. I think when I measure my legs are an inch bigger than they were 6 months ago. So I'm pretty happy about that
Wow.
one. I was like, wow, I guess I'm doing something right. Um, I just noticed a massive increase in just everything. So when I've switched over to strongman, and maybe that's because I'm just not used to the stimulus of strongman. It's something a little bit different than bodybuilding and powerlifting, and that can lead to a little bit faster gains in the beginning. But yeah, from the physical side, it's just again, like you said, figuring out what works for you, figuring out your body, and we're going to be figuring out our bodies for the rest of our life. So this might work for me now,
Yeah.
but it might not work 2 years from now. You never know.
Right.
But what have you learned from going really just in your equipped career, your short equipped career, which is going pretty well, I would say.
Yeah, it's not been too bad. Two 9 for 9 meets and a 8 for 9, 7 for 9. I don't know, whatever it was. Um, I've since getting hurt, the form has come to the forefront, and that's what I think about the majority of the time is trying to better my form now instead of just continually adding weight. Everybody wants to lift heavy, but you it it takes it takes a mature person, and it takes a lot of, I guess, time in the gym to realize, take that step back and say, okay, my long term health is more important than this 5-10 pounds on the squat. Um, so that I've Dylan has really helped me like dial in my training and to find things that are measurable and to get it down to like a more science. So I mentioned on the podcast before that before every workout, I give a 1 to 10 scale of stress, nutrition, motivation to train, fatigue, and soreness. And as a coach, he uses that to plan what I'm going to do for the next week. So it helps him, but it also helps me actually think about like the outside factors that may affect my training. So like now that I've been home from school, that stress, it's a big old fat zero every day. I got nothing to worry about on this break besides training and hunting. That's it. And then motivation to train, I always want to be there. So it's never less than a 7 out of 10. Sometimes it's an 8, sometimes a 9. Um, I'm not really sure what a 10 would look like, but and then so really just like the measurables, what I can look at that will affect my training, and how we can adjust that. So like Dylan will add he'll so I started after this last meet, which has been about a month ago, almost to the day. Every week he'll go up a little bit. That's part of what the linear progression of a cycle is supposed to be. He'll like I started out hitting hitting my top singles at a 7, and now I'm at an 8. Or he'll take one of my sets. I think I had like tempo squat. I had three by six, and then he went to 4x4. So drop down the reps, but increase the sets. So like that slow progression through a cycle. I've learned a lot more about that, and really just like the little things in training, you know.
Have you noticed that you've been stronger since you've been home for break because of the lack of stress of school?
Um, you know, I really don't know yet because during the semester there were different independent variables. Like I had school in the semester, but I don't have it over the break now. During the school, I was prepping for a meet, so I was in gear for one, and my training was at a higher intensity. and the weight was higher. Now I'm in like an off season block prepping for nationals, which is 3 or 4 months away, whatever it is. So I don't have school now, and I kind of have to limit myself on what I do in the gym because I'm in that, only hitting a set of 5 at 8 instead of a single at 9 or 9.5, whatever it is. But I've like we said, mental. I've always wanted to be in the gym, so I usually have really good workouts because I want to be there. I want to put in the work. I want to get better. Um, but I do think recovery wise, I'm able to do a little bit more now that that stress is down from school, and I'm able to focus a little bit more on nutrition, eating better. So I think, yeah, I'd say overall, if I had to put an answer to it, that my training has gotten better over the break. But it's not going to stay like that for long. We go back next semester and I'll start working. So we'll see how working a job affects training.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, that's really what I asked you. Like, if your training has gotten any better, but again, you mentioned that different variables. You're not really training for. Uh, you don't really have a meet coming up in the next month or two, so you're just hypertrophy work, technique. It's nothing super crazy. Um,
One more thing. Um, when I was at school, I was able to work out with my coach Dylan, and then you guys as well. So I was able to have that team support in the workout and also immediate feedback,
mm,
which it helps a lot more because Dylan could tell me from set to set what I need to work on, what I need to change for that set. He could help advise me on the numbers that I could pick. That's part of his job as a coach. But being home, I don't have that. I work out by myself because there's no one around here that does the kind of workouts I do. And then I don't have that immediate feedback. So, I've had to be a little bit more self-reliant during my workouts. I'm able to send the videos to him after the workout, and he'll tell me what I need to work on for that. So it's a little bit harder, as far as during the workout goes, as far as having a coach in person.
yeah. Hmm. I've noticed. I've of course, like, when I get done with a set of squat with Dylan, I asked him how to look. He said that looked pretty shitty, and I don't really have that here. So I do agree. Having that instant feedback is good, especially when you have your teammates around that can push you and you have spotters. That confidence of having your spotters there, and let's be honest, it's just fun to train with your buddies sometimes. And there aren't many
Of
guys.
course.
Yeah, and there aren't many guys that are kind of like, I'm gonna say, they aren't really on our level with lifting. I mean,
Yeah.
they're especially in our probably in our little hometowns. There, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're strong guys, yes, but maybe some of them can't. Maybe some of them can just bench. I know there are some guys in my town that all they do is bench. It seems like all they do is bench. I see every time I see them, they're benching something. Now they're good benchers. One dude can bench like 460. He's a pretty good bencher. And one guy's going for 500 pretty soon. But if you get him to squat or deadlift, they're not going to really be able to hang. Um, but one thing for the physical side for me that I've noticed, um, I like to be strong everywhere. Like, doing the three main
Yeah.
lifts is fun, it's cool, but I like to do more. I like to change it up a little bit more. I like to do a little bit different things every now and then, like front squat, trap bar deadlift. Um, I like the trap bar deadlift. I figured out it can teach you your body to handle load that you maybe can't do yet. It's an
Yeah.
interesting way to do it. Like, if you say you want, I want to deadlift 500 with a straight bar, and I know it can do it, but I want to get my body used to lifting 500 some way. So how can I do that? Trap bar deadlift. 500
Yeah.
for 500 for a trap bar deadlift when you're almost a 500-pound straight bar deadlifter isn't really that hard. You can probably do 600, but it teaches you to prepare your body for that. Like, after I got done doing the 500 for uh, on the trap bar, my body was sore the next. I'm talking like, ow! My body,
Yeah.
my back was fried. my legs were sore. I was like, wow, this really took it out of me. So I was like, okay, but now my body can handle a 500-pound load. So now let's do a straight bar. Now let's see what happens there. So I think it's cool to figure out different ways to test your body and to get it used to different um, lifts.
Yeah, and see that works for you because you've switched to strongman training for now, and you're doing a meet in February, a competition, whatever. But I think strongmen, it's it's not as specific as powerlifting. They rely more on overall compositional strength throughout the whole body.
Yeah.
So and like you said, you mentioned one episode that if you do the same thing for too long, like you get bored and you might start to not see a progression,
Yeah.
So for you, you've learned that you have to change it up to keep getting that stimulus.
Yeah. And I think I'm doing really well at that, so I'm gonna keep doing it. It's funny. That's one of the first things I started doing, but then I got away from it because I want to try like what you and Dylan are doing, like what y'all like to do. I'm like, all right, let me try that. Let me figure out how that is. But then I just got bored with it. Didn't really stick with it. I couldn't really stick with it. Didn't really enjoy it that much. Um. So yeah. What? Let's talk about that. What motivates you? What keeps your motivation to train? What keeps you
Mm.
motivated? Like for me, changing it up.
Um, yeah, there you go. So aside from the fact that it is an ingrained habit now from going through middle and high school football of just working out and on the regular, I'd say my biggest motivation is just keeping that my end goal in mind
Hmm.
of being a world champion in whatever division class I'm in at the time. And I've I've realized and I've told myself that it's going to take a long time, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. I might be a master. Um, not not a literal master, but in the master division when that actually happens. Hopefully sooner. That'd be nice because powerlifters peak at around 30 to 35,
Hmm.
somewhere or 28 to 35, I'd say is usually where most of them peak. So hopefully sooner, but I keep that end goal in mind, and I always tell myself that I just have to do the little things right every time for a long time, and going in every day, doing what I can in that day to improve myself, become a better power lifter, is one step closer to that goal.
Hmm.
That's what I focus on. So I'm a big like goal oriented person. So I keep looking to that goal, keep it in my mind. Um, and it's just I don't. I mean, there's probably some things that could happen in life that would make me not want to go to the gym, but I've built that habit to where I don't skip workouts. I don't miss workouts for anything. Like I had a thought and I lost it. It came back to me. But before I came to state this semester over the summer, being someone that works out like a lot and knows a decent bit, people want to work out with you. All
Yeah.
right, so you're like, yeah, you can come out, you can come work out with me. And two things happen. One, they can't keep up because they don't work out a lot, and that's why they're there with you is to help you guide or have you guide them. So they can't keep up. They slow you down. It's nice to work out with someone when they're with you.
Yeah.
They can keep up. They do. They can challenge you, similar weight, whatever you want to say. Or two, it's their what you're doing does not apply to them. So like my workouts right now, it's a top set of five, and then two to five back down sets of five, and then like three accessories. You know, somebody else, my buddy, Joe, let's just call him Joe. He he doesn't want to do that. People want to do long workouts. What I'm doing doesn't apply to them. They're not going to be interested in it. Regular people don't want to do the basic powerlifter workout
They really
of
don't.
top set, back downs, three to four accessories, and you're done. Because for one, like we talk about, the accessories that I'm doing them for a reason because I need to work in those areas. You know,
And they're not glorious exercises either. They're pretty basic. That's why people don't want to do them. It really amazes me. Like if you want to become good at powerlifting or strongman or whatever, get good at the basic list first. The basics always,
Yeah.
even like pro NFL football players, they got really good at the basics.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, and like the front foot elevated split squats, the good girl bad girl machines, hip airplanes. My buddies don't want to do those,
yeah, they don't.
but those things work on my hips. I need to strengthen my hips a lot. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing them. So I don't people hit me up to work out, and unless you're a power lifter, I really don't want to work out with you. Like you're just going to slow me down.
Yep.
What I'm doing doesn't apply to you. It's not going to benefit you. It's going to be detrimental to my training. And for me, it sounds selfish, but right now my training is my priority.
Yeah.
So, and people they'll want you to work around like their time when they want to work out, and I've done that with too many people that like we plan to work out and they'll cancel or they'll be 30 minutes late. Like I don't change my schedule for people now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna get my training in when I want, and I mean, it's my goal. I'm the only person that can work for it, so gotta get in there and grind.
Amen, brother. I love that. Love that. But yeah, I like you said, I have very few people that I work out with, and the more that we get into powerlifting or the stronger we get, the harder it is to find people to work out with, and the more you kind of don't want to work out with people that you kind of just know in the gym, mainly because one, they can't keep up with you. Two, it's just going to slow you down. Three, you might have to teach them something that you don't really want to teach. You just want to get in there and grind. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
like I
sorry
like
to all the people
I'm
listening that
I'm
are in our towns. We still love you, but you don't want to work out with us
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, like I'm fine with teaching somebody, but I'm not gonna teach my buddy the proper way to squat, bench, and deadlift unless they're serious about getting stronger.
Yeah,
Like one
exactly.
of my buddies from college, like last week, I just helped him with his bench and his deadlift. I taught him how to sumo, and like I'm okay with doing that because he actually wants to get stronger. He's not just a BS lifter that'll come. He'll come a couple times a week for maybe a month, and then he'll drop off. So that's time and energy that I could have spent focusing on my workout,
Yeah. I think it also helps you too,
and
like
that's
learn. Like you can learn the list
yeah.
too. Helps you learn like, oh, maybe that didn't work for him, but maybe let me try that.
Yeah, and what do you think about like when or I guess I don't know how to say this. When is too much time devoted to helping others in the gym?
This has been something I have recently learned. Um, when they stop caring, if they continue to care and they continue to put in as much effort as you're putting into them, keep on going. I'm one of those people as a coach. I'm going to put everything I have into making you better. Everything I know, everything that everything that I know, everything that I want to make you better at. I'm all in. Now, I want a client that's going to be all in
Yeah,
too. And I'll be out, some of my clients aren't all in and we just don't really click anymore. And that's when it usually ends. Um, um, right now, it's just figuring out, like, go all in. Go all in. If they don't reciprocate, pull out.
yeah,
That's really all it
yeah.
is
That's
for
like I
coaching.
don't. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're beating a dead horse here. Like we both want to spread the sport as powerlifting and strength training in general, and that's what the business podcast is for to help people get stronger and get into it. Um, but like you said, when they stop caring, and either both of us will help anybody in the gym,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll give you yeah, and that's not what we're saying. We're saying to the point where it someone is not going to listen to what you say, or they don't care, or it's you got to be careful, 'cause, like giving out advice, because a lot of people,
Don't
they
want it.
either a don't care what you have to say, they, yeah, they don't want it, or they think they know more than you.
Yeah. It's, yeah, exactly. And I think it's my father taught me recently. I'm pretty when I go into social situations. I'm a pretty loud person. I'm pretty loud and pretty obnoxious sometimes. But I've learned to kind of be a little bit more quiet, be a little bit more humble, be a little bit more, listen a little bit more. And I've started coaching I've started teaching the football coaches at my old high school, believe it or not, strength training and how they can implement it with the football team. I've been teaching them different techniques and everything like that. And I went in first very humble, like it's their weight room, so I was like, "Do you mind if I do this? Do you mind if I come by and help you? I have a few ideas. If you wouldn't mind listening to them." So don't just go in saying, "All right, I know more than you. You suck at this, and I'm the best. So I'm gonna tell you how to do it." You got to be a little bit humble. You got to be a little bit humble sometimes. You got to be able to listen, be able to um, not be the jackass sometimes. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it works. It's been working really well. Where like I'm talking, these coaches are what 30, 40, 50 years old, and I'm teaching them things that they've never even heard about. Mainly because I went in, I was like, okay, I don't let me let's try to get on the same page. It's because it's their gym, it's their weight room. Let me be respect them first and their weight room. Then we'll get to respecting the information and everything like that.
There you go. And I think it takes some time to figure out how how to best communicate advice in powerlifting. Like you've done coaching here and there. You've got a couple clients. You have more experience than I do with helping people get better at lifting. And I've helped a few people here and there, and it takes time,
Hmm.
to figure out like the best way to say something. Like when I was helping my buddy the other day, I was like, yeah, it actually had pretty good form. But it how you say something means more than what you say.
Yeah,
So I'd say something like maybe try to work on this. I'm not like stop that, do this.
yeah,
It's more like, give your suggestion. If they take it, great. They're making improvement. If they don't, oh well, that's on them.
there you go. That's a good way. Yeah, to make suggestions. If they want it, they'll do it. If they don't want to do it, they don't do it.
Yeah, and that's why I say like try this. So see if
Yeah,
that'll work for you. If it doesn't, out, scrap it.
yeah. I like that. It seems like we're thinking alike, and I think you know more than you think, Seth, about helping people. I really do. I think you know a lot more than you think.
Well, yeah, that's something like you said. I got to stay humble. There's a lot that I don't know, but I'll share the information that I do know with anybody who's willing to listen.
Great answer. There's always something more to learn.
Yeah, there's plenty that I don't know, and there's always someone that's going to know more, that can help you in your training. So I think we talked about this with Taylor and her help in her high school.
Hmm.
You know, there are people that know more than you out there. So, like we said, stay humble, take some advice, listen to what they have to say. If it sounds like BS, maybe be skeptical. But try out what they say, and that's really all powerlifting is taking the things that work for you, you keeping them, and discard the rest.
Yes.
If it doesn't work for you, yeah, don't worry about it. But take what you can, take pieces of information, take knowledge from people here and there, apply it to your own training, add it to your little knowledge bank in your head, so then you can pass it on to someone else, down the road.
Exactly. Wise words from Seth and Todd.
Yes, sir. That's what people come for.
Yep. Hear our lovely voices. I'm sure that they don't care about the information. They just want to hear us
So
talk.
maybe some of them, but yeah. So back to that question that I posed to you earlier, the mental physical percentage split. What do you think it is
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm a much more
for you?
physical. I'm a much more physical person. I'm gonna say like,
Okay.
but not by a whole lot. Um, maybe like
Yeah.
10 to 20%. So I'm gonna go 70 to 80% physical, Because sometimes when I'm in the gym, I don't want to think about it. I just want to do it. I'm a doer. I'm a very much of a doer. I'm not a big
Yeah,
thinker sometimes, which is good and which is bad. Um, but then I'll say I'm 20 to 30% a mental.
that's actually surprisingly close to what I was thinking.
Really?
I was thinking for myself, I wouldn't go 50-50
Yeah.
because I was thinking about it. You can you can lack the mental aspect and the mental sharpness for powerlifting, and most often, more times than not, the physical side will make up for it.
Yeah.
But if your physical side is lacking, then the mental side, your brain can't pick up that weight. You gotta do it. So I was gonna say for the physical between 60 to 75.
Okay.
Probably closer to 60. And so, mental side between 25 and 40, but I wouldn't go 50-50.
Yeah. That's interesting. So we're both closer to the physical side because,
Yeah.
like you said, the brain's not going to lift the weight. Sometimes you just got to do it. Literally,
Yeah.
you just got to do it. Um, I think the mental part comes in that last little bit. That you sometimes when you just want to go all in, you're thinking, okay, I've only gotten 6 reps with this. Well, now it's time to really go for it all. So I'm going to get 12. And
Yeah,
I think that's when the
exactly.
mental can come in. But yeah, powerlifting's not as technically sound as like a weightlifting sport. Weightlifting, you have to have a lot of
Hmm.
technique and it's a lot of mental capacity to be able to get that technique over and over and over. And powerlifting and strongman, if you're strong, you're probably going to do pretty decent.
Yeah, maybe just the risk of injury is a little bit higher.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
so yeah, that was a good one.
I enjoyed that one a lot. That was
I
very
think I,
interesting topics.
I think there's a lot of things spread throughout here that that people can take away and add to their training. Maybe think about it themselves. Maybe, yeah. Challenge yourself. Try to put a number on the mental versus physical percentage for your training. Put a number on it for what it is right now, and then make a goal of what you would like it to be. Based on what we talked about in the episode today.
Or see where it is a year later.
Yeah, see how it's changed because I'm sure for both of us it'll change. 2 years, 5, 10 years down the road, and I think that's just how you grow as a lifter in the way that you see training.
I just had an idea. So the younger you are, the more physical it is, and the better you get at the sport, the more mental it is probably going to have to become. Mainly because eventually, yes, your body's going to give out. Well, not give out. Your body's going to. You won't be able to add as much poundage to your total as you could when you were younger. Yes, it's going to still be a lot physical, but not as physical as it is going to be mental. Because if you want to break world records, you're going to need a lot of mental capacity for that to be able to like you said,
Yeah,
visualize and everything like that. So that's just something that just clicked in my head real quick. Maybe probably the younger you are, the more physical it's going to be, and we're kind of getting into that intermediate side, so we're not as physical. We're a little bit getting into that mental aspect too.
yeah. So yeah, I wanna remind everybody listening of the two quotes that we talked about in the mental part earlier. So Jesus is what he said. Jesus Oliveras, big old 120. He I already told him I think he's gonna break the world record raw squat here in a couple years.
Oh yeah,
But he's and he was actually our first guest. Thank you, Jesus, if you're listening. Appreciate you coming on. But he said, out of sheer will, out of sheer determination, out of sheer belief in myself, what if I'm actually able to surpass my genetic potential? What if I'm doing more than I'm supposed to simply because I think I can? And then what was that one from Joe Sullivan?
my success is not preventable; it's inevitable.
It's not probable.
Oh, my success is not probable; it's inevitable. A little bit of miscommunication there, but we got it down. We got it down. We got it down.
He tried it.
Yeah, I tried it. It's the thought that counts.
There you go.
But again, my
So,
success is not
yeah,
probable; it's inevitable.
there you go. So take those two quotes, do with them what you will. Um, we have a big announcement. With our last episode, we reached 1,000 listens for our channel, which doesn't seem like a lot, but every listen counts, and we appreciate every listen, no matter what platform it comes from, what episode. And so we're going to do a giveaway on our Instagram. A7 has been kind enough to donate some stuff to us for this giveaway. We're not sure what it is yet, but be on the lookout on our Instagram in the next couple days, week and a half or so we can announce that giveaway, and someone can win some cool A7 gear, and that'll probably run to sometime mid early January. You think?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that, as well as the new platform.
YouTube. All of our episodes are now on YouTube. Be sure to go check those out. I've had some people DM me on Instagram saying, "How can I find these episodes when I don't have this?" Well, your problem has been answered or solved or whatever you want to do. It's on YouTube. Finally.
There you go. Don't have Spotify. Don't have Apple Music. YouTube is free. Go check them out. Altman, go ahead and plug that Instagram. People can find you.
At Big Strength.
There it is. Check us out at triple.b.podcast. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, everything. Check me out at Seth.Todd76. As always, thank you for listening. And we will not be releasing an episode Christmas week. Go enjoy time with your families, get some training in. We will be back the week after with some more great content for you guys.
I have to ask you.
See you guys next week.
I got one thing to ask you real quick.
Yeah?
Will you be training Christmas Day?
Let me check the calendar and see what day it is. Christmas is on a Friday, so I do train on Friday, so I'll be training on Christmas.
Only true gym bros train on Christmas. I haven't missed a Christmas since I started training. I haven't.
Really?
I haven't. So
wow, that's dedication.
You got to keep the tradition. But
all right, folks, we'll see you all next week. Thank you for listening. Have a great week.